Let me tell you the types of coincidences, quote unquote, that have occurred. Some of them are not coincidences, I know for sure. Some of them, such as the air conditioning in the airplane, probably, almost certainly, well, probably are coincidences. So it was really hot during the heat of the day, around 3 or something, this person agrees to do an interview. And so I go out and I do the interview. Remember, I have to do it on the side of the road. I have to do it with the windows up so the cars passing by don't mess with the sound quality, and don't interrupt during a key point, which often happens. So I'm in the car sweating. There's some chemical smell in the car, and I'm fucking being gassed and fucking, burned, suffering heat as well. Extreme heat. Probably 100 degrees in that motherfucking car. Plus. And I'm doing the interview. The temperature on the iPhone gives out on the iPhone that I'm doing the recording, not the one that I'm on the phone on. So I go, first I lower the windows, and then the iPhone cuts out again. That's the second clip. So then I go outside and I put it on my trunk, on top of my trunk, and I do it there. Maybe, no cars, maybe 1 or 2 cars have passed by before then. Then about 4 or 5 cars pass, I didn't think one of them flipped a U-turn. I can't remember because I was so focused on the interview and just trying to use my body as a barrier to block out some of the noise from the car passing by. So then I go home and I do the last clip from the speakerphone in my room, and I'm sure you now understand why I don't use the speakerphone in my room. And if I put the phone any closer, it's interference, but it comes out bad sound quality from the speakerphone anyway. Now, I might be able to solve that problem by buying a new speakerphone, but I'm not a big fan of taking that route for many reasons. I don't want to throw money around hoping it works out. And also remember that this interview is not to prove my point in one interview. It's to add to a long list of interviews on my James Jackson channel, and to add into my, records, for safekeeping. And I'm still looking for people I can trust with backup copies of my videos. So this is a quantitative study, not a qualitative study. It's for the quantity of proofs, not a small group of people who are chosen for their quality of, for quality of interviews, for their expertise or something, but for the quantity. Now, I don't want to make this a long intro. I said what I have to say. I'd like to expand, but I want to keep this short, so I'm going to leave it there. I'd like to expound on these topics, elaborate, whatever. So keep in mind that this has bad sound quality. There's a lot of good points. I'll probably want to interview this person again and their husband. She never texted me when her husband got back for me to call her back and do the interview. Maybe she discussed it with him and he didn't want to do it. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there ultimately, because what this person says falls in line with the system's abuses. So it really doesn't matter if she's telling the truth or not. But I strongly suspect she is telling the truth. I don't see why she would lie. And why would they plan her to lie about things that happen all the time? Phone right now. So, the first question, what do you think of psychiatry and its potential for being misused as a control mechanism or something of this nature?
It's also a slippery slope. It depends on the psychiatrist and their ethics and their morals and their boundaries. That's a case-by-case basis. It's definitely has a lot of risks. I've seen both sides, beneficial and unbeneficial.
What do you think of stalking and secret society stalking, government stalking, gang stalking, government harassment? And have you had any cases of it? Have you been stalked? made an article trying to play out anyone who would say that the government is stalking them is crazy. And in the DSM, psychiatry's book for mental illnesses, they describe paranoid schizophrenics as believing that the government is out to get them. Any thoughts on that?
Of course they're going to say that, because that's how they cover their ass, because they know that that's what they're doing. I mean, it's the New York Times. It's like, you know, of course they're going to say that. Of course, because it's true. And the best way to, you know, like, you know, oh no, we're not doing that, you're crazy. Of course they're going to say that. What are they going to say? Yeah, we're stalking people. No, they're going to try to make you out to be paranoid. Which, a lot of people maybe are. I mean, I don't know. I just know because my uncle paid tens of thousands of dollars for a private attorney to prove it.
You see how that these people choose also vulnerable individuals, because not everyone can afford to defend themselves legally.
Well, exactly. That's why I stopped. Because I'm poor, okay? Like, I'm not, like, dirt poor to where I'm homeless. But, I mean, I'm struggling. We struggle. We live pay to pay. You know, when we were struggling is when they came and attacked us. Like, you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was terrifying. Doesn't even come close to describing how scared I was for my kids and me and my husband. And it was after they threw me in jail, stole my kids, threw my two elderly aunts. They didn't realize my one aunt is military wife. My uncle was captain of the submarine for 20 years. And then went to law school, and now he's a corporate lawyer down in Georgia. He's not stupid. He's not poor. And they threw his wife, who never even had a parking ticket, and my other aunt, who was a school teacher for special ed kids for 35 years, who never had a parking ticket, in jail on $10,000 bond for speaking up and freedom of speech. Then was manhandled by a bunch of police, and he flew up from Georgia, mad as hell, with his checkbook. And once he got the best lawyers, once he got us out of jail, got the kids back, once he, you know, said, like, listen, I'm willing to fucking spend millions of dollars to fight you, then they backed off. Once he hired the private investigators, once he hired the best lawyers money could buy, once he, you know, said, like, you want to play, let's play, then they backed off. But no, in my crusade, or whatever you want to call it, I have found more people than I can count. And the saddest stories you'll ever hear of people that didn't have a rich uncle in Georgia to come save the day and have lost everything because of it, and are being bullied by police and government officials and staff, and their lives are ruined. I had a woman commit suicide last month because she couldn't take it anymore. They'd taken her kids and harassed her and ruined her life. I mean, it's real.
Do you think do you think it makes some people logically want to fight back and do something to them?
Yeah, because I've seen it. I mean, there's many cases, and I can send you links of the one lady. They took her only daughter. Something stupid, you know, like medical kidnapping stuff, where, like, a lot of times it'll be like cancer, and they choose not to do chemotherapy and radiation, and try to choose to do a holistic approach. The government comes and says, no, you can't do that. We're the government, we know everything. I'm taking your kid because you're being a bad parent, not giving her chemo. And they steal your kid. Well, this happened to this one woman, and I don't remember the details of this particular case, but I'm thinking this is true, and I'll send you the link. So they had taken her child, her only child. It was all she was for. She loved her child. She fought with everything she had, every penny she had, did everything they asked her to do. Nothing was going up. They terminated her parental rights. They're going to lose it. They're going to break. People can only take so much. Now, whether people take it to that extreme, you know, I don't know, but there's a reason why all these major politicians, Hillary Clinton was just in Pittsburgh, they had every police car, every police force, Secret Service, and everything else. The whole city was shut down. There's a reason why these people have this much protection. They're not good people. These aren't like, you know, people don't like them. They know they're bad people.
Yes, they're a bunch of satanic secret society criminals. And then a bunch of liberals and big corporations and mental health are going to step in and say, oh, look at this crazy person who shot this person. We got to take away their guns. We got to make more mental health legislation so we can control them. On top of the Patriot Act and the NDAA and all the other acts they have, surveillance state. You know, it is a pharmaceutical state run by criminals. And these are the same criminals that, you know, who used to bootleg in the 20s, Al Capone type people. They moved on to the pharmaceutical sector, you know. Did you know this? So it ran out of over temperature. I think I was talking about NDAA, Defense Initiative Act. I'm not sure what I was referring to, but anyway.
And then they said, oh my God, Sarah, you were right. You know, I used to think you were crazy. I used to think you were exaggerating. But then when they got locked up, well, one of you was a huge liberal. Oh, they would never. The government's here to help. And then, you know, she said to me, Sarah, oh my God, you were right. You know, like, I can't believe, like, I was so stupid. And so when some prison doors slammed in her face at 80 years old, and she was manhandled by cops and told she wasn't allowed to speak in a courthouse, and the police said, get out of my house. And she said, I'm a taxpayer. I paid for this. This is freedom of speech. And they manhandled her and threw her in jail. And then charged her with felonies. This woman that never had a parking ticket. Yeah, so, you know, that's...
The temperature messed up again. That was after rolling down the windows. I then go outside. Also, I'd like to add, you better believe that there's mental health staff, not just psychiatrists, that roll with it and help the cop play the person out as crazy after they abuse him. But let me go to, you know, did you know that 500,000 people...
I can't hear you. We're breaking up.
Did you know 500,000 people die annually from psych meds in Western countries alone?
500,000 what?
People die every year from psych meds in Western countries alone.
From psych meds?
Yes.
Yeah, the girl in Allegheny County Jail just died. Her mom's suing. She was given Haldol, which is an anti-psych drug. Even though she had a I have to send you, it's a neuro-something disorder. And the autopsy proved Haldol was the cause of death. So now the mom is suing Verizon, who was a healthcare provider for Allegheny County Jail in 2014 when her daughter died, Jacqueline. So, yes, people definitely die from psych drugs.
Do you think...
And I was put on Cymbalta, real quick. I was put on Cymbalta, and I admitted myself into the hospital I begged them to get it out of my system because I was hallucinating. I was suicidal. I mean, I had every symptom on that insert. It was terrifying.
Do you think that psych meds, especially antipsychotics and mood stabilizers, mess with one's ability to do physical activity?
I don't know. I'm torn because my Zoloft works for me. I mean, it does. I've been through a lot, and you know, if I take too much Xanax, yeah, I'm tired. I just want to sleep.
Later on in the second, in the clip after this, later part in the video when I get home, I record from my speakerphone, she says, yes, it does mess up physical activity. But she's basically saying that right now by saying it makes her tired. That's just one of many side effects.
You know, I don't take anything while I'm pregnant. Like I said, I haven't been taking my Zoloft because I went to Kennywood to I'm using it and I brought a bottle of my medicine and I can't find it and I can't get it refilled and I don't have my medical lab, so I can't get any medicine for like 2 weeks. So yeah, I was sweating and having a headache the last 4 days because I don't have any medicine.
All right, well, a lot of the side effects include stiffness of muscles, loss of coordination, and then headaches, muscle twitching and spasms, racing thoughts. A lot of the side effects include some of the symptoms that...
Yeah, all that. I mean, definitely muscle spasms. My legs have been cramping. My neck's really tight. I mean, I have arthritis and pain from trauma and abuse that I had sustained earlier in life. So
I'd like to note that Zoloft is an antidepressant. It's not an antipsychotic or a mood stabilizer. So even just being off antidepressants, she's experiencing serious side effects. And so it also shows you that, in so many ways that medicine messes up people's lives. But some people feel, maybe it's the placebo effect or whatever, they feel that the drugs help them. And, that is key here. However mentally ill you might think someone is, if the drugs so-called make them better, then shouldn't the person understand whether or not the drugs help them? And for those of you who need explaining, the drugs have never helped me. Being on and off psych meds for 20 years, 21 actually, the drugs have never helped me. Not even for a split second, not even a nanosecond.
And you know what? You may want to interview my husband. He's on his way home. Because I know you think I'm out of it, but he's not. He doesn't take any medicine at all. And he has like a little bit of a different perspective than me. He's not as conspiracy-minded as me. Definitely more rational. Kind of more like you, I guess, but not as awake to the things that me and you are awake to. I don't know, you might find his perspective interesting. He's more introverted. But he's been through, like, he'll tell you, like, he wouldn't even think that what we've been through is possible, except for the simple fact that it's happened to us. And, we know the power of what we're up against and the evil.
Yeah.
And like you said, they do prey on the more vulnerable because once my uncle came up from Georgia and they saw the money and that he wasn't backing down, then they went and picked on someone else.
Yeah,
I'm convinced if I didn't have him, things would have been ended up very different.
So you were saying about your cellmates and the drugging. Could you repeat that?
What?
You know what you were saying about your cellmates being drugged? And you were...
Yeah, I was on publishers. Well, my one cellmate, her name is Charlie Broderick. He was in jail. He went from Ash. He lost, I don't know. When I got out of jail, I Googled because I didn't really believe her story. I think she did have something to do with the abuse of her son. At 10 weeks old, he had broken bones. He was taken off her. Then her and the dad were incarcerated. He got like 7 years. He's still locked up. Then she got a year, but I think it had a lot to do with drugs or whatever. The point is, so she come in at about 250 pounds. By the time she was my Sally, after 15 months of incarceration, she was a soaking wet 80 pounds. They had her on ridiculous amounts of phenobarbital, head drugs, fever medicine, which I didn't know she had these, but she does. A lot of times she would either puke them up or cheek them and then trade them for other stuff, like Wellbutrin, which they like to crush up and snort in jail. So that was disturbing, but most disturbing to me was Kiana, because to this day I incarcerated with, and she was transferred to this mental jail facility here in Western Pennsylvania that's totally terrifying, where she really don't want to go. And this is a very sweet person that needs help. She is just a wonderful person deep down. She's just tormented by demons or something. But what they did to her, was drugging her with the Haldol and can't think of the other name. But it would knock her out for 3 days straight. I would go to her cell and like, try to look in and see if she was even breathing. But she was in a single cell by herself with nothing but this little thin blanket. And, yeah, I mean, it was really sad to watch.
Would you say that these drugs can be used to take somebody who's in good physical condition and break their body down until they're sloppy and in bad condition?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you had saw my wound celly, and then another thing that disturbed me is two of my cellies at one point were pregnant. One girl was pregnant. She was like 5 months pregnant. She was a crackhead. They let her go. And I prayed to her. I said, please, when you get back, when you get released, please don't go back to drugs. Anyway, but the other one was this one girl, and I can't remember her name, and she had just had the baby in jail. They transferred her to Mickey. She had the baby. The baby was taken. It was then kept in the NICU because it was born addicted to heroin. But they were still giving her, before she even gave birth when she was in jail, they were giving her, I don't know what exactly they give these girls, but they take them back somewhere and they inject them with something. And they say it's morphine. I don't know, because I'm not a drug addict, so I don't know. But she was saying she was getting 5 milligrams of morphine a day. I just thought it was strange. Like, you're giving these people drugs while they're pregnant, then they have the baby, then they come back to jail, and you're still giving them drugs. I thought that was weird. Like I said, the girl just died 2014 from being given a neuropsychotic, which was clearly in her chart that she was not supposed to have, and she ended up dying, and now the mother has just filed a lawsuit.
Yep, you know, and also it's like they're experimenting on people too, because they're adjusting doses, they're taking records, and they're using the information to help them decide what direction psychiatry will go in the future.
Right. I had a spouse. She was completely normal, like, she would drink, and she was on antidepressants, and whether she quit taking it, or whether they switched it, or whatever, she hurt herself. My biological father is diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic manic depressant. He's a complete during psychopath. He has been locked up in every facility and penitentiary. He's a drug addict. He's a psycho, pedophile. From what I heard when my mother was still alive, she said that he was on lithium and it was keeping him stable. And then some doctor decided to take him off this lithium that he had been on for 10 years. And when they took him off of it, that's when he tried to kill me and my mom. I don't know how true that is. I'm too small to, be able to tell you 100% that's true, but I know that these drugs can be very dangerous.
How soon do you think your husband will be home?
He's on his way home now, so within a half hour.
All right.